please don't give Carol no more children. God love her, and I know she does the best she can, but she just ain't that good with them. They don't last that long around her. This week is The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 14, titled The Grove. Now, I thought this was an excellent episode, mainly because it was chock full of Carol, Tyrese, and the girls, and I've been waiting to see them since... since last time we saw them, which has been a good little while now. Now, this episode starts out with Tyrese and Mika taking a nap on the train tracks, and Carol and Lizzie watching over them. They were right under a bridge, though. If it were me, I think maybe I would have crawled up there in that little corner, like where the homeless people sleep. I think that would have been a little bit safer, because it probably would have taken them clumsy old walkers a minute to get to you. And when they were under the bridge, what if a walker had tried to cross the bridge and then tumbled off the side and fell on them? They would have been lunch, so... Anyway, I don't know if they were taking turns sleeping or what, but I think maybe Carol has just given up on sleeping, because we didn't see her getting any rest in this episode. She was constantly trying to get everybody else to take a nap, but I don't think she actually took one herself. Eventually, she got Lizzie to go down there and join Tyrese and Mika. Lizzie didn't want to go, though. She said that she could help Carol take care of Judith if there's trouble. I was like, girl, you is the trouble. No, I don't know how anybody could sleep anyway with Tyrese laying down there running off at the mouth. Well, apparently he's been dreaming about Karen, and I guess he doesn't know how to keep it to himself because he's been talking in his sleep. But anyways, come morning, they got up and headed down the tracks, and Carol decided to take Mika off into the forest to hunt for water. Well, that was the official excuse anyway. She actually took her down there to scold her for being a pansy. Mika was not having it, though. She does not want to be tough. She'll put down a walker if she needs to, but under no circumstances will she kill a living being, not even a deer, for supper. So it's the total polar opposite of Lizzie, because Lizzie has no regard for life whatsoever, whether it's a human life or a little bunny rabbit or a little mouse. She loves them walkers, though. She spent the better part of this episode on a Save the Walkers campaign while her and Tyrese were at the tracks. Waiting for Carol and Mika to fetch some water, a walker came shuffling down the tracks. Clumsy old thing got tripped up and took a tumble, couldn't get back up. And so Tyrese was going to put it down, and Lizzie talked him out of it. She was like, I know we have to kill them sometimes, but sometimes we don't. And he let it live. Well, technically he didn't let it live, I guess, since it was already dead, but... I would have been like, girl, no, we kill them all. But we already knew that Tyrese was a softie, because he didn't even like to kill the walkers at the prison in the fence. Remember when him and Karen were, shoving stuff through the walkers' heads? He didn't like to do that, so he let the walker live. So anyway, while Carol and Mika were on the prowl for water, they found something even better. A house with a well, a bunch of pecan trees, a bunch of deer running around all over the place, and a gas stove. How the gas is still on this deep into the zombie apocalypse is beyond me, but I guess the gas man just hadn't come to cut it off yet. So while Carol and Tyrese were clearing the house, Lizzie and Mika sat outside with Judith. I get nervous every time I see Lizzie with that baby, because... when that walker came out of the house and stumbled over the railing, for a second there, I thought that Lizzie was going to feed Judith to the walker. And she looked very nervous. She didn't seem that concerned, though. She wasn't, really scared. And she didn't squeal until Mika put a bullet through that walker's head. She squealed then, though. She felt so bad. She loves those zombies. I kind of already got the sense, though, that they weren't going to kill Judith. Not just yet, anyway, because I suspect this season will probably end with an emotional reunion when Rick finds out that Lori and Shane's daughter is still alive. But anyway, then later on, Carol called Lizzie playing outside with the old lady walker, and she was just laughing and having a good old time. So Carol came out and put the walker down. Lizzie went totally apeshit. She was so pissed. That walker was her friend. She didn't want to hurt anybody. She didn't want to hurt anybody. You killed her. You killed my friend. And she was like, what if I killed you? What if I killed you? I would have put that child down right then and there. Well, I know you promised to protect her and all that, but somebody says something like that to me, and we already knew she was crazy. One of us is going down, and it ain't going to be me. Carol didn't kill her, though. Well, not then, anyway, but in hindsight, she probably wishes that she would have. In Lizzie's next walker encounter, she went back to the tracks to pay a visit to that old walker that she had talked Tyrese out of putting down, and she took him lunch. That was so sweet of her. She took a live mouse that she had caught. Apparently, she's been catching mice. The girl is like a little kitty cat. She fed him that mouse that was so disgustingly awesome. And she was just smiling the whole time and promised him that she would bring him more. And then Mika showed up and she was trying her damnedest to convince Lizzie that walkers were bad to the bone. Lizzie still just wasn't buying it though. She figures that people just don't understand them. Even says that she can hear them. Well, I can hear them too. It sounds like snapping of teeth and whatnot. Lizzie was on the verge of letting that walker bite her so that she could turn when all of a sudden a bunch of charred walkers started traipsing out of the forest. Looked like a bunch of Karens and Davids. Well, there was a fire nearby. They had been seeing the smoke for a while, so I'm assuming that it's the same fire that Daryl and Beth started a couple of episodes back. But anyway, so Lizzie and Mika took off running back to the house, and Lizzie even helped take down that pack of crispy walkers. You know, that broke her crazy little heart. But it finally seemed like maybe she was starting to get it. I knew there was going to be more to it though, because girl was insane, and people go insane, but they don't go back sane. So back at the house though, she was like, I know what I have to do now. And the next day we found out what it was that she had to do. She killed her little sister. Carol and Tyrese was out hunting for a deer, and when they came back, Lizzie was standing outside with a bloody knife in her hand. She had done slaughtered little Mika. My question is, why the hell did they leave these kids unattended anyway? I mean, hell, even in today's world, you can't let your kids go outside without watching them like a hawk. But in the zombie apocalypse, them young'uns ought to have been on lockdown. Now, I realize that Carol and Tyrese are only their makeshift parents, but come on. Lizzie was like, oh, don't worry, she can come back. And Judith can come back too. I was just about to... yeah, she was about to put little Judith down too. Apparently, in her messed up little mind, she figured that if they could see Mika as a zombie, Carol and Tyrese would realize that zombies are good people too. She was determined to let it happen too. She was like, we have to wait, we have to wait, we have to wait. She even pulled a gun to Carol as if to say, bitch, you ain't killing this one. But Carol eventually talked her out of the gun and convinced her that she was just going to tie Mika up with her shoestrings. Girl's a maniac, but apparently she's a very bright one, because she bought it hook, line, and sinker, and so she went into the house with Tyrese and Judith while Carol put Mika down. Later on, back inside the house, Carol and Tyrese had to have the talk. Well, one of the many talks. What is they gonna do with this miniature little monster that they've done inherited? And Tyrese just went through a laundry list of things that she's done, feeding walkers and whatnot. Tyrese even found a box of mice in her room, and he was thinking that she was the one that killed Kara and David, and Carol was like, no, she would have let them turn, which is true. But I was like, girl, is you stupid? I would have been like, yeah, she probably was. You might be right about that. But no, eventually they both agreed, girl just can't be around people, so you knew what was coming. Carol took her out back and put her down like a sick old horse. It was just like the ending on Of Mice and Men. Lizzie was like, I'm sorry I pulled a gun on you. Totally oblivious to the fact that she had just murdered her little sister. So Carol had her look at the flowers. Apparently looking at flowers is very calming for Lizzie. And then Carol blew her brains out. I thought it would have been a little bit more interesting if Lizzie had turned around at the last second and saw it coming, but maybe I'm just a little bit too mean. But anyways, so Carol and Tyrese buried the girls, and then later on in the house, it was confession time. I was like, throughout the whole episode, you knew it was coming, and Carol was wanting to do it the whole time. So they were sitting at the table, and she pushed her gun across the table to him, told him what she had done, and told him to do what he had to do. I was like, girl, no. You don't need to confess to hell with a clean conscience. Pin it on Lizzie and be done with it. Now, personally, I had thought for a while that she had been covering for Lizzie, but it became clear early on in this episode that it actually was Carol. And as far as confessions go, she picked the perfect time to confess because, well, first off, he had just watched her kill someone that she loved because they were a threat. So maybe it was a little bit easier for him to understand why she did what she did, because it was the right thing to do. And Karen and David would have died anyways. But more importantly, he had no other options. When they were talking about what to do with Lizzie, they agreed that Tyrese and Judith could not survive on their own. I mean, well, he might be able to survive on his own, but not if he's carrying around that squealing little lunch bell Judith. And I think that she is his main concern right now, so his only option was to forgive Carol and head to Terminus with her. I think it'll be interesting, though, once they find other people and Judith is safe. Well, will he really be able to forgive Carol? Well, I mean, I know he's a gentle person, but forgiveness, it's something that's easier said than done. So this episode ended with him heading off. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying, well, where was baby Judith? Did they leave her behind? Did they kill her? No, they didn't kill her. She was riding on Tyrese's back. So apparently they're on their way to Terminus. Let's hope Terminus don't ask the same 3 questions that Rick and them have been asking, because Carol would be so screwed. Her human body count is about to outnumber her walker count. How many walkers have you killed? 7? How many people have you killed? Well, 250, but they all deserved it. I mean, come on. So I think the next episode will be really interesting. Now, the previews for the next episode, we see Daryl and his new gang of misfits, and Glenn and his new gang of misfits. Only 2 episodes left this season. Oh, that makes me so sad. I hope that we are not left this season with a series of discombobulated cliffhangers, because I want some kind of resolution. Let them find Terminus or something. Well, surely we're going to have some cliffhangers, but I want something to be resolved before the season's over. So anyways, leave me a comment down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the show, how you think the rest of the season is going to play out, if you think that Tyrese has really forgiven Carol, or if maybe he's just buying his time until Judith is safe, and then he's going to put a bullet in her head. And so I will see you folks next week. God willing and the dead don't rise.